Hey y'all, welcome back to Collectible Stonks. If you are new to the channel and you like seeing the financial side of collectibles, as well as just seeing, TCG news, specifically for MetaZoo and Flesh and Blood currently, consider hitting that subscribe button, as I do have several other videos that I am planning on making. I do have some Nightfall box openings planned, specifically a spellbook that I know for sure I'm getting. As well as I may be opening up a first edition Tales of Aria booster box on the channel soon. I just gotta wait for my order to get here. But without further ado, today we're gonna be talking about the the promotional sale that everybody's been talking about in regards to Flesh and Blood. And yes, I am talking about the new Alpha Investments 2-year Flesh and Blood anniversary promo kit. Now, this promo kit has been the talk of the town since it was announced because of its high price point and because of the history in the card itself. So for those that have not watched the video, which I think at this point I really doubt that my Flesh and Blood audience hasn't watched it, but essentially Rudy from Alpha Investments, him being such an early supporter for Legend Story Studios, he was actually given, or he was the official first ever promo card created. Now, you may have seen the mat before, right? The King Rudy mat. Well, turns out it's actually for his own very own promotional card that you can see here, Rudy Gemkeeper, which I think is just really fucking cool. Yes, I did buy 2 kits, and I know some of you may think that that's quite a bit. It is what it is. I actually believe in the longevity of the game. I believe in collectible items such as this. But there's been some kind of a little bit of controversy. Not really controversy, but more so people really thinking like, yo, whoever bought these are dumb. They're stupid, And the only thing I can say, as one of my good friends has told me time and time again, it's fortune favors the bold. And essentially, you got to YOLO sometimes. And this was one of those moments where I felt that, whether the game is here for many years, which, let's be honest, at this point, I think it's pretty much a given so long as they keep playing their cards right like they have been. No pun intended. But Legend Story Studios and Flesh and Blood is here to stay for many years to come. That's a given. Now, the cool thing about this card is this is the very first promotional card ever created, ever commissioned by Legend Story Studios. This was so alpha to the point that they I guess like the hero, like you see how it says hero merchant, it's been changed up in the official, now that we got new heroes and stuff. Essentially the card itself the card layout has been changed. This card, being the first promo, has the original layout that Legend Story Studios had planned. But the thing I want to talk about is not just this card, but essentially all the negativity surrounding the product. People keep saying $1,000 for one promotional card and 4 art cards. And to me, the way I see this is there's only 1,500 cards, 1,500, give or take, Rudy Gemkeeper cards in existence. Depending on how many people bought them yesterday night, and actually throughout the day, because the sale is still going on, there hasn't been any notice saying, hey, it's sold out. But tonight at, I believe it's 9 p.m. EST, he will make an actual announcement on the Patreon, from my understanding, saying how much actually sold, and how many he's actually going to be burning in his video 2 weeks later, assuming that, the package is coming right, there's no damage, etc. You have to realize that this is a type of card. This is a promo card that is actually a true collectible. And what I mean by that is, for the people who've been on my channel since I started this channel a few months ago, several months ago, 6 months ago, you may remember I made a video, about the Flesh and Blood promotional market and how certain cards were going through the roof, how certain promo cards were going through some certain cold foil cards. My hesitation with promotional cards is that Legend Story Studios has a strict reprint policy on all promos that are for, tournaments, for What else? Just basically local game store events, stuff like that. They reserve the right to reprint these cards. We have already seen that with the Cold Foil Crazy Brew. We have already seen that with several other promotional cards that start at the very top, $200-$300 a card, and now they're worth maybe $100. For example, the Monarch kit that Rudy had, the Cold Foil Blasphemous and the Cold Foil Urser, those cards started on fire. They were selling for anywhere between $300 to $600, depending on which promo card you got. Obviously, Urser is the one that basically was worth more. So if you got an Urser card, they were selling for $500 or $600. If you got a Blasphemous card, they were selling for about $300 to $400 if you're lucky. And now, where are those cards, you may ask? A Cold Foil, let's look at that. Like, Cold Foil Blasphemous it's only $100, $200, $150. So as you can see, the prices on these tanked. And why? Because they were handed out at events, they were handed out at tournaments, they were handed out left and right. So there's really no and there's no stopping them from reprinting these. I believe there's only like 1,500 of these as well. But the big difference between some of these promotional items here, like Blasphemous for the Cold Foil cards and the Rudy card, is simply the fact that this card is not going to get a reprint, no matter what. This card is not going to be given out at events. This card is not going to be given out anywhere else. The only way you could get this card is if you bought that $1,000 kit straight from Rudy's Patreon, which, as I'm sure many of you are aware, his Patreon is always filled up, and you're very lucky if you manage to click on his Patreon one random day and there's a spot open. But the fact that it's so difficult to get after this sale, the fact that there will be no reprints, there will be no other way to get it, this was a really, really exclusive card. 10 years from now, 5 to 10 years, 15 years from now, whatever, and Flesh and Blood is doing really well, this is the type of card that goes down in Flesh and Blood history. This is, like that Pikachu Illustrator card. This is that type of card that actually holds true collectible value, and that's why I pulled the trigger on 2. Now, you may call me a Timmy for it. You may think the price is going to crash, and I expect the pricing of this card to go down. And the reason I say that, and the only reason I say that, is because right now we're seeing these cards going for about $1,800, anywhere between $1,500 to $1,800 actual sold listings for a kit. And so you see here $1,420, $1,550. This was best offer accepted, best offer accepted. So in other words, people are currently in a rush to the bottom. They're trying to, make a little bit of profit on one of the kits, potentially both if that's what they're doing, and then get out. Essentially, they may make $400, $500, $600, and they're good. But I want to say that 2 weeks from now, which is when the Rudy video of him burning all these cards should be coming out, assuming that not all of them sold. For all we know, they could all be sold already. All 1,500 may already be sold. We don't know. We won't know till tonight. But even if it is, the bottom price that almost anybody will accept will be a minimum of $1,000 for this card. And if you're a true collector of Flesh and Blood, and you love the company, you love the history, and you want to have this piece of history, you're going to be at the mercy of the seller. Because I, for one, don't plan on selling mine at all. At least not in the short term. I plan on holding out until, the number seems right for one of the kids. And my second kit is going to be long-term hold. And yeah, you can call me a Timmy. I mean, at this point, again, fortune favors the bold. Worst case scenario, what happens? I lose $2,000. Best case scenario, I get one of the most sought after cards in Flesh and Blood history, simply because of the history and the significance behind this card, and how, this person, Rudy, was one of the very first people to actually believe in Legend Story Studios when no other card company, when no other distributor really wanted to work with them, because everybody thinks that it's oversaturated, that you can't get into the market. And so because of that, I'm willing to risk the amount of money that he asked for this card. But anyways, for those of you who got them and you plan on reselling, you have a couple of options, right? You can do so right from you can start putting pre-orders like these people have here on eBay, or you can hold on for a couple weeks. I truly believe that once that video and once the final numbers of how many cards are out in the wild, the prices will spike, depending on if they all sold, depending on if only, let's say, 500 or 600 kits sold, whatever. We'll find out soon enough. But that video is going to change the pricing for this card. So right now could be an easy flip. That's up to you guys. You may think the market crashes, but long term, this card will be worth, no matter what, a minimum of $1,000. The market has been set. I don't see the market going down. The only other card that is similar, like I said, as collectible as this card is Go Bananas. And that's my personal opinion. You know, that's my personal opinion. The reason I say that, same thing. It was a very unique card. It was a very exclusive card to an Australian retailer that believed in flesh and blood. And they haven't reprinted that at all. So Go Bananas is about $300. We don't know the print run on it. Can't imagine that it's, you know, worth that much, or that they had so many printed. But even if they did, you know, it was a free card handed out to everybody. Nobody had to pay anything to get it. So when somebody has to pay $1,000 for an exclusive card, now you can see that the market is going to go up. So hold. Literally hodl the crap out of this card. For you short-term sellers, I get it. You know, you want to make a quick buck. Cool. More power to you. I've done that too. I did that with MetaZoo. And even then, I still have some long-term MetaZoo holds. But no matter what, I truly think that this card is special. We shall see. We shall see tonight. I'm very excited. As soon as Rudy releases that video, hopefully, you know, it'll clear up and more discussions will come about the actual value of the card. Again, I don't see it selling for anything less than $1,000 because of the current pricing of it. But you never know. So now I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys because I got to go cry because my bank account is broke as heck, y'all. And I still got to prepare for the MetaZoo drop that he's going to do at the end of the month. So anyways, thank you guys for checking out the video. Thank you for hearing me ramble and, you know, just hearing me talk about my feelings and thoughts on this card. I know not many of you watch all the way through, so for those that do, I appreciate you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about this card, whether you think this was a Timmy trap, or whether you think that this actually has value because of the historical significance of the card itself, you know, of how it came to be, of you know, all that. So anyways, thanks again, y'all. I will see y'all in the next video.